Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And everyone, welcome to this late edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk as we speak to you live from the VCU Siegel Center in Richmond. We've got the state basketball championships underway. 2 more games to close out our coverage on the NFHS network. He is Ed Young. Actually, we'll actually change the name title so it says Matthew Hatfield and Ed Young, and hope my computer doesn't crash in the process because we've had some troubleshooting issues all throughout the day. Champions have been crowned all across the sport in high school basketball in Virginia. It's the eve of Selection Sunday. We're in VCU's arena. The Rams love to go dancing. We'll see what happens with the Rams here in the next 24 to 48 hours. But Ed, champions already crowned in classes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. We're just down to class 6 today with coming up the Osborne Park ladies against the Manchester Lancers, who won the state championship a season ago. But kudos to those that have won the titles. John Marshall in Class 2 got it done again. Central Wise got it done again. Class 3, Spotswood just finished off a victory over Hopewell. We also watched the Lower Botetourt girls rally to beat James Monroe. Class 4, Heritage of Leesburg, a winner over Salem. How about the boys game in Class 4? Atlee beating Verona rather handily. And in Class 5, Princess Anne girls victorious as they bring one back to the 757. And Green Run boys win in dramatic fashion. A walk-off game-winning layup from Cassidy Jackson. What's captivated you so far in the state tournament? And there's been some compelling storylines throughout involving coaches too, which I know you love being a coach. I was going to say former coach, but he hasn't said retirement just yet.
No, anytime you have opportunity to be the state tournament, it's great to watch. I watch it from a coaching aspect, see what the coaches are doing. Yeah, I love watching the players go up and down the floor, but I'm watching coaches. Let's start with 5A. Princess Anne, Darnell Dozier, again. Number what? 15?
Yeah, 15.
Okay. Pretty much in hand the whole game. Expected, undefeated season. And, that's the greatest way to end a year. You're undefeated and a state championship. And I don't think he would even be worried about, this doesn't feel as great as number 1 or 2 or whatever. I think he's to the point now that, hey, this is just, thank God we're here. Thank God we got a chance to win it, which they did. And again, they work so, those girls work so well together. And he's not a lucky team. It's a great program. Big difference between a great team and a great program. Prince Anne's a great program. 5A boys, Green Run. Now, here's a little difference. Coach Harris at Green Run shared a championship in the COVID years with Norview, if I'm not mistaken, because they canceled everything. And I'm going to say this out loud. A lot of people kind of side-eyed that championship like, well, you really didn't earn it.
It wasn't fair, too, was it?
No, you won a championship, and I'm going to tell you right now, the people that say that are either jealous or ones that have never really won one. He won a championship, okay? That's just the way it is. They were there and under the circumstances. But now he can easily take that asterisk and say, do with it what you want. They want
it up real nice and stick it where the Rudy Poot, as they once said.
Like the sun don't shine. He won it and the game wasn't real smooth.
It wasn't.
But both teams played in that roughness together that made it an exciting game. Here we go, back and forth, back and forth. Who takes over the game? Cash Jackson.
You didn't have a field goal going into the fourth quarter. Let's stop right there. Let's give the audience a chance to hear what Coach Kenneth Harris said after the game. Green Run a winner over Albemarle and come from behind fashion. You're watching a late afternoon edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV.
All right, I'm here with Green Run head basketball coach Kenneth Harris. His Stallions win at 43-41 over Albemarle at the buzzer in the VHSL Class 5 State Basketball Championship. Coach, just how you dreamed it and scripted it, right? A buzzer-beating finish with Cash Jackson, the hero for you, after Makai Racklin ties it up for you. You elected not to use the timeout there at the end. You had 3 remaining, but put the ball in hands, and the rest is history, isn't it?
No doubt, man. He did exactly what we. I joked with my son one day when he was in his city championship. He had a bad game, and we called him 54-second Noah, because he had hit a 3 and all that. That was the same thing I was telling Cash. All we need is one play. And that's what he did. He stepped up one play, and I'm glad that it was in his hands. We talked about it, If they score, let's get back and score. It don't matter, we're going to win this game. And that's what it took, man. I knew when that ball was in his hand that we weren't going to lose.
You mentioned the press conference afterwards that you could pretty much ball up the stats because it wasn't the prettiest of games in terms of shooting either side. But just to speak on, you told me earlier this week you also felt that both David Trey Miller and Cash Jackson have been more scrutinized than a couple of the standouts the Green Run's ever had before. Just the heart, determination, and will of those two young men, 4-year starters, to go from losing record, region champs with losing record to state quarters, state semis, state champions.
I mean, they got better every year, and that's what we told them. Now they just had to finish the deal this year. And they fight. They good two kids that work hard. Trey has, he when he came as a freshman, about to be a JV kid. We had a couple of kids leave, end up starting. End up from being a freshman to a senior year, he's close. I'm thinking right now he's probably the all-time leading scorer at Green Run. So
just past B.J. Jenkins, correct?
He passed B.J. Jenkins, so it's an awesome job by him. And then for what Cass has been going through as a point guard and always being compared. And one thing I always told him, you run your own race, and that's what he started doing. He ran his own race, and his race was a good finish. Now we got to run through it and start another career.
Well, and he passes Jacob Cooper to Jackson on the all-time scoring list, who got a championship that was shared 5 years ago. You guys win it. That whole asterisk talk has been talked about all week. But for you, how also is it refreshing that these two kids stay with the process in this day and age where kids may leave for greener pastures, they think, or schools, and also to hear both Trey and Cash talk about their teammates, the underclassmen, a big reason why you won today with defense and doing the little things?
There was so much that went on this season for these young men, from summertime, from kids, and people, a lot of coaches in people's heads and all that going on, man. But then they trusted my staff and I, and that was one thing. We had to have meetings, we had to do this. It was a lot, but everybody started trusting. Then we started getting the trust from everybody, and that matters. When I'm just saying everybody, their families and everybody. And yes, I told Cash and Trey, get us here because these young kids need to see it. They need to feel it because this is a place that you want to be every year. So I'm just glad that they were able to do that for those young guys, and they felt the moment. And I felt like they were just as poised toward down the stretch as anybody.
Tell me about your opponent. Come more, let you run. Albemarle, a lot of people thought we'd see Woodside or Riverside today. I was one of those people that thought that, but I know you have a ton of respect for Greg Maynard in his 36 years as a head coach, 600-plus wins. You kept them without a three-point basket today, but what did they do to make it difficult on you all?
They really made it difficult. They did a good job on Cash. We knew that they was going to even have a game plan on either Cash or Big Trey, and they did a good job. They were staying in front of Cash. Cash got patient towards the end, and I thought he would start reading his whole. They were help side, really helping hard, which in a lot of film they wasn't helping as strong as they were today, and they were very athletic. I think it was way more athletic in person than it was on film, but long too. So, my game plan was we definitely wanted to keep them down. I knew they averaged 65. So I think that was Hatfield told me it was 65. I think I joked them and said I'm gonna keep them under 50. Is that what I said? And I was able to do that, but I also thought we were going to be able to score, and we couldn't score. So hats off to Albemarle and Coach Maynard and his defensive scheme, man, because it was a great job, and our guys were frustrated, but they kept going.
Lastly, you get a chance to exhale and go celebrate. I guess tell me will you celebrate this, but even more than just how you'll celebrate this, what do you take away from this whole experience? It's your first time here as the head coach at VCU. You won a championship as a player. You had the COVID year. What do you hope you and your kids and your staff take away from this experience to win a game at the buzzer like this?
Man, this is Green Run, for this community and what we've done, and all these players that we've had come through here. I think about my Ashley James and what he's done, and how he's put a lot for me with a lot of these kids, even going back to like a Tyler Blunt and all these kids I've coached, man, that, it's like, man, they all stepped in, and every year we were able to see more and more players just get better and just know that they're playing for Green Run, and the culture that we have there is still growing, It's still growing, and I see it. I see it with the young kids. If anybody see our games, we'll have about 10 young kids hanging back after a game. They mad they couldn't come down here, but, it's just an awesome feeling, man, for this community, and just happy for these guys.
Mission accomplished. Job well done. Congratulations, and go enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you. I can get some
So that was Kenneth Harris, Green Run a winner, 43-41 over Albemarle. Ed, they finished up the season a perfect 22-0 when they hold the opposition under 60. This was a game played in the 40s with not much three-point shooting that was great. But before you chime in on what Coach Harris told us, and you're watching our live edition of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. It's a condensed mini version. We'll do the longer version after Selection Sunday on Sunday night here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell your neighbors as friends and family and all those good things. You want to watch that game-winning shot by Cash Jackson again because it was something special.
This time I don't mind watching it because the last time Green Run won a buzzer in a tournament game, I was coaching.
The late, great Ashley James. And it made me think about this as we had the call on the NFHS Network. You, me, and Tim Blink. Here it is. Albemarle down by 2, and the Fanatics are going crazy. The fantastic finish. Oh, here it is. Ragland inside. 2 defenders surrounding him. And we'll tie it up with 8 seconds to go. Cash Jackson with 5, 4. Jackson with the basket. Layup. It's good at the buzzer. Green Run has captured the 2025 Virginia High School League State Basketball Championship at the buzzer. And all I can say, fellas, is there might be an angel above by the name of Ashley James watching down because Tim, the guy to my left, lost on a buzzer beater to Green Run in the regional semifinals 5 years ago from half court by Ashley James. And Cash Jackson does it in dramatic fashion to bring Green Run the title. What a... Do you believe in divine intervention? There was something there. I mean, you and I on the call, this happened to you 5 years ago in a playoff game. Ashley James tragically dies later that year. They don't get a chance to play in VCU against Northview for the state championship, and it ends that way.
Yeah, this time was a little different because I didn't think of that when he made the shot. It was so chaotic. He's coming down, and I've seen him play this year with the ball in his hands with a game on the line and deliver all the time. So I felt he could do it again. When he went to his left, I was thinking he's going to get fouled. He'll win it at the foul line. But to go left and put it up with your weaker hand in traffic, not many kids would do that. I'll just tell you right now. In fact, I'll say 95% of kids would not do that move. But he did, and he put just enough power on it that it went in. There was no time for the timeout. It was done. It was legit. It was rolling on the ground. If you watch the film, Green Run is at midcourt, rolling on the ground happy, and right next to him is some of the Western Albemarle kids laying on the ground, rolling, crying, and pounding the floor.
Not Western, regular Albemarle.
Albemarle, not Western. That's right. I don't want Greg Mander to hear that because that's his brother's team.
And who's beat you before?
But seeing those two emotions from each end of the spectrum, that's what a state title situation is all about.
Some more state championship finals we can show you here from this week. John Marshall, a winner over Graham in the Class 2 title game, 107-81. You'll hear from Coach Ty White in just a moment. Also out of Richmond, Raleigh Axel's team wins it. It just finished up. It's not on the bracket there, but Hopewell falls to Spotswood 57-50. We'll have on our Sunday night show Chad Edwards' conversation with us. He got very emotional. Atlee, a winner, 66-44 over Verona. Your quick thoughts on those games and Class 1, Ed. Franklin falls to George Wythe, another 757 team in action. So it wasn't a sweep for 757. PA girls won, Green Run boys won, one lopsided, one close. This was not close as George Wythe behind Reed Kirtner shot lights out, 6 of 8 from deep in the first quarter. Can't do much better than that unless you go 7 of 8 or 8 of 8.
Well, you're looking at, there's so much there going on there. Atlee beating Verona, two contrasting styles. Atlee more methodical in their play, not quite as athletic as Verona, but bigger than Verona, and they use that to their advantage. They did not back down. They ran their game plan from start to finish, period. Didn't matter what Verona did. Atlee was that tuned into what they were doing. And those fellows, those big fellows inside are a little bit bigger than you thought. They controlled the boards, and the shooting was tremendous.
Verona admitted in the postgame presser, their coach, Kenneth Randolph, that they took them lightly and for granted because they had owned them for years and years and years. Atlee won the region final, got a newcomer in, and Will Hopkins at the guard spot. Coach Axel, who joined our show a couple weeks ago, his son Knox hit some timely threes in the first quarter. Connor Wilcox was tremendous. And we caught up with Raleigh Axel after the win, a state championship victory over Verona inside the media room at the Siegel Center. You're watching it with us on the 757 Saturday Sports Talk special edition right here on CoVA Sports TV. All right, here with Atlee head basketball coach Raleigh Axel. His team wins at 66-44 over Verona in the Class 4 state championship. Coach, just how you drew it up, 26-1. You blow out the
Capital District rival after you beat him in the region final. I want to start off, and I know you have a ton of respect for Coach Randolph and the Blue Devils. He was brutally honest with us in the post-game presser saying he didn't think his kids took you guys seriously. I think in reference to the first time, and maybe even partially tonight. How much did your kids sense that, even the first go-around, and did that help you for this matchup, even though they knew the stakes were higher and it could be tougher?
Yeah, I don't. Our kids said they were, typical game talking trash, but I think they thought it was normal, and they did not feel like Verona took them lightly. So it's surprising to me, and especially tonight after we beat them the first time. It was a good game down to the wire pretty much until the end. We pulled away, but I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't take us a little bit more seriously.
How about Connor Wilcox? We know about Will Hopkins, who's likely going to get state player during Class 4. Yeah. We know about your son Knox, who was dialing it up from deep, 14 points tonight. And I think he's a team comedian as well, but. Wilcox, I mean, you guys know him, you see him all the time in practice, but to go out here and get 18 and 8 in that breakaway gem in the fourth quarter, that sent your student section that packed his house into a frenzy.
Yes. And like I said, earlier, he started out this year, wasn't shooting very well, and then sprained his knee, was out 6 games, and then we went to play in the Lake Braddock tournament. He got the flu, so the beginning of the season was rough for him. He couldn't get it going. And then after the Lake Braddock tournament, we had 2 weeks off. And so he kind of got himself together, got his shot going, and he's just been playing really well since that time. So, first team, when you make first team all region as a freshman, you're a player. And so he got it going the second half of this season. And he's very good tonight. He's got to be really good next year. So the thing about Connor, he can shoot, he can post up, he's getting better off the dribble. So he's got a well-rounded game.
Even though you're always worried as a coach about the time and can we hold this, I felt like from afar watching into the third quarter where you pushed it from 7 to 11 and brought this up to Will and your guys was a big deal. How much did you sense the way you close out periods and those little small things, the tip-ins, the extra plays, that typified your whole season?
Right. And the kids, they've been making big plays all year. And I did not feel as comfortable as you did at the end of the third quarter. I was still worried, even though we had played well, but I know what Vron is capable of. And we did not handle the ball well versus glass, and we turned it over too much in the fourth, and I knew Verona knew that, and they're going to come after us. And so I was kind of worried that we were going to have a repeat. But we turned it over a little bit, but we made enough plays to keep them at bay.
How do you hold them to 2 of 20 shooting? I know some can be their doing, but a lot of it has to be your defense, and to keep Brian Mitchell, who is so explosive, from taking over a game like this.
Well, that's the key is the first game we held him to 4 points, or he, again, we do some, he does off game, and tonight kind of the same thing. We can't let him get going. And we know, Caleb Struthers got going the other night. I don't know how many he had tonight.
16.
So he's the last 2 games he's played. So one guy can go off. We can't have multiple guys. And we were kind of worried. I saw Mitchell post up a little bit versus Hanley. I was kind of worried he was going to do that again tonight. We doubled down on him a couple of times and it helped. But I think our defense was solid. And some of it, he just didn't have a good night.
When you're in these championship spots, first time for you, we've seen it with Green Run in Class 5. We've seen it in Class 6, other classes. When you have that veteran guard like a Hopkins, how much does it just make everything else kind of fall into place?
Well, I think the key is you got Will who can handle it and Shields who can. So you got 2 legit point guards. So if they take Will away, Shields can handle it, or vice versa. So when you have 2 guards like that and you're getting shots most every time down the court, you got a chance to be a pretty good team.
Lastly, you know how great the basketball is across the 804 in Richmond with the likes of John Marshall, with L.C. Bird, and so many teams. Verona's been a king of the mountain. Hopewell's playing for a state championship.
Yep.
What's this mean to you, the athlete community, and to pull this off against another Richmond team in the Siegel Center?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think everybody's probably a little surprised.
Are you to a degree?
Like I said, we had our 3 main scorers back, and then 2 or 3 weeks before the season, Will comes in. And I'm like, okay, he kind of turbocharged an already good team because we won 16 games last year. I was like, we're gonna be pretty good again. And then again, he comes in and just makes us take it to another level. So I thought we had a chance to get to the state tournament before he came in. And then when he came in and he started playing well and it all kind of gelled, I was like, okay, we might have something going here. Again, to win the state, it's kind of crazy to think about, but I knew we had it. I knew we had a shot.
Congratulations. Go enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So that was Riley Axel, the head basketball coach. We're getting you bloopers here on not the NFHS Network. You can watch the games with us on NFHS Network. We're on CoVA Sports TV right now. Before we sign off here, we're going to give you a quick Ty White interview. Ed Young's got to tell an elevator story tomorrow. We don't have enough time right now, but Ed Young's elevator story is priceless.
I got stories from Richmond just now.
Wait till you hear the elevator story tomorrow on our special Selection Sunday show. But, Ed, I've got a top 5, an all-tournament team, actually maybe 6, but for the boys. We'll do the girls on Sunday as well. I want to give you my 5 or 6 guys so far. Will Hopkins of Atlee, who you heard about with Coach Axel. Cash Jackson of Green Run. Reed Kurtner of Georgia with. Latrell Allman of John Marshall. Just watch Cam Pacheco get 23 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. And I know you love Camden Langridge from Spotswood, but Pacheco played a great floor game. his wingmate there and Tyler Sprague's pretty darn good too. What do you think as Woody greets us from the land of unknown?
Woody, we're good to see you coming on, jumping in here quick as we are going to be rolling this up soon. That's a good all-state all-tournament team. It's a tough one to pick. There's a lot of good ones here.
I don't waffle on lists like you do with the coaching list. I give you a list. Go ahead.
My thing is those kids are all right. Cam Lothridge, who just won it with Spotswood, gets some kind of a star for me. The kid is about 6'1", maybe 175 pounds. He had a guard, the big fellow from Hopewell. Was it Jervis? Jordan? 6'10".
Jameis Jordan, close enough.
6'10" and about 250. He did one heck of a job on him. Nose bleeding most of the game. Sweat, uniform ripped and torn. The kid was the epitome of what you want out of a player. When his coach started talking about him, he teared up. He couldn't finish the statement. That tells you what that kid brings to the floor. So I don't care what teams we pick, as long as that kid gets some kind of an accommodation for what he did.
And guess what? Teams that lost, like Verona and Hopewell, they'll be back here. It wasn't their best night. We'll have more time to talk about that on Sunday. But one team in Richmond did not lose. They didn't lose. They don't lose very often, and that's the John Marshall Justices. They gave up a record for most points scored in a state championship game, and they also set a record in what might have been, what's being rumored to be, Ty White's final game at John Marshall. Well, we threw it to him. It was bounced to him in the press conference too, but if it was a doozy. But here's what Coach White told us after the game on CoVA Sports TV.
All right, here with John Marshall head basketball coach Ty White as Justices win at 107-81 over Graham in the VHSL Class 2 state championship at VCU. Coach, the mission's complete, a four-peat. How does it feel? You set a record for most points scored in this championship game. They set a record for most points in a runner-up. I'm not sure you envision that coming in, but you'll take it, won't you?
Definitely will. To God be the glory. What a great day, and I'm so proud of those guys. I've given the opportunity to showcase their gifts, talents, and abilities, so it was a great honor today.
Three guys scored 20-plus. Latrell Allman gets 27 and 10. He's had a 40-point game this postseason. Ladarius Given, newcomer for you this year, 21 and 13 for him on 10 of 14. And Troy Henderson with 20 points and 8 assists. And early on, your offense was humming. And these numbers seem like, my goodness, but even with talented players, those aren't easy to achieve, are they?
That is certainly not easy to achieve. And those guys share the ball so well. They play for each other, and they don't care who gets it done. And I'm just excited to be the coach.
And to piggyback off that, 14 assists between your backcourt of Argerbright, who's headed to Richmond, going to stay here in the hometown, and Troy Henderson, who scored 2,500 points in his career, come over from Lancaster. But those two guys, and he's going to Fordham to sacrifice after losing Damon Red Thompson. What's that mean to have guards that got the bigs involved and play within the team concept?
Certainly. And the specialty part about our team is we're so balanced, and to making sure that as the guards getting those bigs involved and keeping those guys happy, that makes them rebound harder, run a little court harder, defend a little better. So I'm extremely grateful for those guards today with the 14 assists.
You hear about it from everybody. John Marshall, why are they in Class 2? You're winning by 56 points per game in the playoffs. But Graham came out here to play today. Are you glad they made you guys have to sweat a little bit?
Listen, Coach Baker does an unbelievable job. He had those guys prepared to play, and I'm so grateful for those coaches, for those guys, for the way they competed, man. Unbelievable job, and they should be commended because they did an unbelievable job.
Even though you might have had some defensive breakdowns, is the thing you're most proud of the unselfishness of your group? What do you like most coming out of this win today?
Certainly, I'm just grateful for the group of guys being able to showcase their talent, and they got a chance to break a record. Like, we didn't know that was a record, but the opportunity for them to do it is super amazing.
They don't play the game. You don't coach the game for that. But to be historic and get a four-peat at John Marshall, it's got a rich history and tradition. What's that mean to you?
It's an honor, and it's truly a privilege to lead these group of guys. I'm just grateful, man. There's no other word than just to be grateful, because those guys work every day. They don't complain. They push each other, and they're motivated. I'm just grateful.
Every title team's different, from the guys like Greg Jones on your coaching staff now to the Isaiah Todd, the Roosevelt Wheelers, the Dennis Parker Juniors, Red Thompson, this group here. What made this group unique for you?
It was just so balanced, and the way they love each other, care for each other, and take pride in protecting each other and protecting the John Marshall Shield.
Two more let you run. You're going to compete in the Throne, I think it is, big national tournament up in, is it New York or New Jersey?
New Jersey, certainly.
Tell me how excited you are for that, because not everybody, whether they're from Virginia or anywhere, that chance.
Well, these guys have earned an opportunity to get an opportunity to play against the nation's best. It's an 8-team tournament. Some
quality competition on NBA TV. So it's a great opportunity to kind of be national champions. That was the goal in the beginning of the year.
And last, I know this was addressed in the post-game press conference, but I'll throw it to you this way. You've done the 4P here at John Marshall. You've had tremendous success. You've taken this program from good to great and national and elite. What's left for you to do, and what's in your mind next in terms of challenge and opportunity?
Certainly, sir. Well, to lead these guys and to coach these guys is an honor and a privilege. We'll see what's next.
We'll see what's next. Well, congratulations on the championship, and job well done.
Thank you.
John Marshall, a winner. 4P is complete as the Justices get it done. They with Central Wide's girls in Class 2. In Class 1, it was a George Wythe double. Girls and boys win it. Class 3, the girls of Lower Botetourt, the boys of Spotswood. Class 4, Atlee boys won it. And Heritage of Leesburg girls. Class 5, Green Run boys, Princess Anne girls to represent the 757 in Virginia Beach. And we got coming up here in moments, NFHSnetwork.com. Yours truly, along with Justin Waddle and the coach, Ed Young. It's going to be a big one. Osborne Park trying to knock off Manchester, defending champ, and then South Lakes, defending champ, taking on C.G. Woodson, otherwise known as Mr. Clean versus the Beast. Final thoughts, Ed, on Ty White, the Justices, in this big tournament here this week.
Ty White just needs to relax, enjoy the season, and like LeBron James, just rest and go on home.
He's going home is what you're saying? Okay.
Well, that's where I would go after the game. So let's go ahead and rest. It's been some great. And to the teams that have lost, you lost this game, but you're not losers because there's a whole lot of other coaches and players wish they could be here.
So you're going with Osborne Park and South Lakes to win or no?
I think I do have both of those. I think I'm one game up on you, or we tied. No, you're one game up on me. I had Salem, you had Leesburg.
That's right. Get it right. Don't twist it out there for the audience.
I'll give you a one-game lead, but I'm going to go. I think I'll go the Park and the Lake.
I can dig it, the Park and the Lake. All right, that's going to cover it for us here. Thank you for tuning in. State championship coverage on the NFHS Network. We'll be back after Selection Sunday when the brackets are revealed. Give you ours. We'll scratch out some things, give you more thoughts and interviews from the state championship game, including Chad Edwards of Spotswood, whoever wins the Class 6 boys title game. We want to thank Jack Lowe and everybody here at the VHSL, too. Zach, our man from CoVA Sports TV. Mike McCall, everybody from the VHSL. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching our 757 Saturday Sports Talk, a abbreviated edition from the Siegel Center in Richmond, right here on CoVA Sports TV.